Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. It is Tuesday, October 19th, 2021, a little bit after 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for joining me on this wonderful October fall autumn night. Crisp outside, cold in here. So I've been telling you guys it's Tuesday. It's a Tuesday stream, so this isn't a doomed interview. I don't have a guest on. I don't have. There's not gonna be a podcast. Doing that extra stream a week. I told you guys I would do an extra live stream. Um, and I had told you guys previously, a couple of weeks ago, actually, like early September, even I think it was, where I wanted to do a movie night with you guys, where we would watch a movie and some commentary, etc. And I had a specific movie in mind when I told you guys that, because I wanted to do this episode on this specific conspiracy theory. And there is a movie that came out, oh boy, quite a while ago, in 2005, although it's been re-released since. But it's not out of date. In fact, it's probably more relevant now than it's been when I say now, I mean over the past year, two, three, than it's been in decades. And that is it's a film about a conspiracy theory that a lot of QAnon people believe in. There's a lot of overlap there. And I am having on this Thursday as my guest the documentary filmmaker. His name is Zeb Haradon. And while you don't need to see this movie to enjoy Thursday's interview, I thought we would watch it a couple days before tonight. So if you are tuning in, you can be fully into it and know what we're talking about on Thursday. Again, I'll make sure if you didn't, if anyone's not watching this, they'll know what's going on still. But the movie is called Waiting for this. I've actually I can never say this, NESARA. And what that is, it's basically a conspiracy theory based on a real set of proposed economic reforms in the 90s. It was called the National Economic Security and Recovery Act. It never made it before Congress. However, conspiracy theorists have long believed that this law was secretly passed, and that George W. Bush made 9/11 and the Iraq War happen specifically so this law couldn't be enacted. And what does this law do? Well, these conspiracy theorists believe that it would wipe their entire slate clean. All debts, credit cards, finances, everything, whoosh, just gone. Now, what's incredible to me is that this this conspiracy theory, well, this film too, obviously, we'll watch it in a second. This conspiracy theory really does sound like something that would be like a leftist wet dream, right? Like this is what would be considered from the right to be communist or communism, right? Debts wiped clean, a chance to restart. Everything just written off, kaput, gone, no debt. That doesn't sound like capitalism to me, right? But these conspiracy theorists, at least in recent days, we'll find out what a little bit more about the origins in this film. They're all like Trumpites and QAnon believers. So we're gonna watch right now a film called Waiting for NESARA. Again, it was directed. The filmmaker Zeb Haradon will be on this program Thursday at the usual doomed Thursday time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I urge you to check out Zeb's website. I believe it's just zebharadon.com. He has uploaded this film for free on his it was like a real movie release. It did the indie film circuits back in the day. Um, and he uploaded it recently over the summer to his YouTube channel. He said the distributor seems to have gone under. So I thought we would watch it in preparation for Thursday's interview with him on the NESARA. We'll find out how it's actually said in a second. Conspiracy theory. So without any, I'll watch it with you. We'll pause maybe a few times throughout. Obviously, I'm not going to just sit here and watch it in the corner and never say anything. My audio will be up. We'll have reactions. I'm going to grab some popcorn, like I said earlier in the promos for this. I got my M&Ms. I got my sweet tarts. I hope you brought the popcorn because I didn't. And let me tweet this out. Actually, I neglected to tweet this out. Give me 1 second here. It's movie night on the live stream. Tune in to learn. Tune in to a great. Tune in and we'll dive into a bizarre old school conspiracy theory that lives on to this day within QAnon circles. All right, it's tweeted out. And let's do this. Turn the volume up. And here we go. Waiting for NESARA.
We started out at the Kentucky Fried Chicken on State Street and 39th. It was the original location of the old meeting we had, but apparently they'd had some problems with their sewer line backing up, and a lot of people started complaining about the stench in the room. So we started looking around, and we eventually found another restaurant to meet at. And that one didn't work out because we didn't have a room that was exclusive to us. We had diners coming in and out, and it was just not conducive to having a private meeting. Our next venue was at the Stonewall Center. It was a great meeting room, and we just felt it was time to move on, and so we decided, since it was nice out, we would move to the Liberty Park. The conspirators in this conspiracy represent less than 3% of the population in our country. Okay, that's a minority.
Not even 1%.
And then so what about the rest of the 98, 99%? Are we going to let them rule us with fear? And I say no. You know, I've been associated with many movements, the John Birch Society, the LaRouche Group, We the People. And you know what? I don't see anything really going to come out of that. I want to see change on this planet. Right. And I don't care how it's accomplished, and I don't care who we have to network to get the job done. Okay? And we've got to come together as a coalition and stop this goddamn name calling. All right? And I'm angry about it. All right? We've got to work together as a coalition because the dark side, they're got their shit together, people.
I just want to chime in here that Dreezy Mobbins in the YouTube chat points out that the world's first KFC is in Corbin, Kentucky. Obviously not. where is this again? Obviously not in Utah. Kentucky Fried Chicken, right? Oh boy.
Do you guys have a lighter or something? We got you guys some candles back here.
Did you?
Oh, thank you.
The problem is, Jim is allergic, so we have to put him back there. He
Okay.
hates sending candles, but yeah, we've got, I think I've got a thing right here.
See, we even got a deodorizer in here, and we even had them come and spray deodorizer on the carpets and everything.
Did you
Check.
ever go in that room?
We've been bleaching that whole room, like, for the past week.
Victoria, when you decided to smell in here. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Why don't we get started here? Now, there is a thing called NESARA. How many people are not aware of NESARA? You're not aware of NESARA, Margaret?
It's been a while.
Okay. You're not aware of NESARA. How about you, sir?
It's been a while.
Okay. NESARA is an acronym, thank you, Sally, for National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act. It was a secret law that was passed in the year 2000 by the Clinton Congress, signed into law by Bill Clinton. A gag order was subsequently placed on it by the Supreme Court, simply because it involved too much change within the banking community. It would have caused total chaos if people were allowed to know, to find out about it. People would stop paying their mortgages, their credit cards, their car payments, and it would have resulted in worldwide economic chaos. The gag order was extended to high-level people in the government. It was leaked out beginning in around 2001, and there was a woman named Dove that started to put out information about the NESARA law. NESARA has several key provisions. Number one would eliminate the IRS. Okay, everybody in favor of that? Any dissenters to that?
Nope.
If you are, we'll shoot you right now. No, just kidding. So, IRS goes away.
Yeah, he sounded like he was really joking there. But I just want to say he's mentioning the woman called Dove. This woman Shani Goodwin. She basically is like the leader of this NESARA movement. And she is responsible for a lot of what they believe. I don't think it'll be mentioned in this movie because it was made in 2005, but she died in 2010, yet her movement continues on.
Hallelujah.
Another provision is debt elimination. How many people have credit card debt that they'd like to see erased? Well, under NESARA, it's gone, wiped out. Nada. How many people have a mortgage on their house right now? It's gone, wiped out.
NESARA to me when I think, well, right now I owe something like $398, and I could only afford to take out $15 from my that's in my cash reserve, but I have to build up my cash reserve again. But to eliminate that would be kind of helpful.
Number three, it gets rid of the entire United States
This guy's dreaming about getting rid of $390 of debt. Dream bigger, buddy. It's a conspiracy theory. You could go out and spend. I mean, that's actually what I'm joking, but there's some truth to that. There are people who have ruined their life financially, going deep into debt, believing in this conspiracy theory because they think, they'll buy everything I need to buy now, and then NESARA is going to be put into effect in the coming months or next year, and whoosh, everything was free because my debt will be wiped out. Now they're stuck with all those bills.
Congress and Senate.
That would be so wonderful.
Gone. He gets rid of President Bush and all of his cabinet members. Now, this is going to sound so far out, you're going to think this is like from Star Trek or something. Okay? But I'm getting a witness myself that this is true. Okay? And really, truth is so far from how they portray it on the news. It's almost backwards. Everything. They lie to us any chance they can get. You know, in 1984, I ran for United States Congress, and I had a TV interview, right? They went and they interviewed me for 20 minutes, and they put me on the nightly news, and they put a 30-second little clip. They took one thing I said out of context, and it made me sound like a right-wing wacko radical. But this is what we heard happen over in Iraq. As you know, our illustrious president is trying to get us into a war with Iraq against the whole world. The whole world is against it, right? Okay. He's already moved tanks and heavy armored equipment and surveillance teams and all this into the borders around Iraq.
And we know what the forces can do to those tanks.
Right. Well, here's what the forces did. Okay. Now, by the forces, I'm talking about extraterrestrial forces. Okay. They took and removed all of the troops up into the ships.
Oh.
They beamed them up into the ships and they left the equipment, and then they disabled all the equipment so it won't work. And then they dropped stone markers, big stone markers with big high letters, saying, "We will return your troops after NESARA is announced." That happened yesterday.
Whoa!
Hello, dear friends from White Knights. It sounds like there is a competition among White Knight groups to see who can get a NESARA announced the soonest. Now that the White Knight leaders in charge of NESARA have learned that there are 3 other plans to get.
Just want to pause it there as I see the chat is getting up to speed with what's going on here. It took a turn, right? I saw you all in the chat cheering for your debts being wiped out, right? And NESARA, I mean, the difference is, the left would love all those debts wiped out. Student loan debts and mortgages, and if you got a mortgage, and hell, if NESARA was coming out and go out and get a most expensive house I could. I mean, we'd love that, right? But obviously, that is something that we aspire to fight for via policy, like, student loan debt, abolishing that. It's not something we believe is secretly enacted, and any minute it's going to happen, and so we just form a cult and ruin our lives thinking it's going to come when it's not even a reality. But then, of course, there's the other various things you just heard, where we got the aliens and the lizard people. Let's continue.
NESARA announced, the White Knight leaders are changing their date. The White Knight leaders are now choosing to do the NESARA announcement several days sooner than they previously planned. The members of the White Knight group who told Pat Sajak to talk about a world-changing announcement this Sunday also have the support of the World Court. The White Knight leaders do not have the ability to stop these other White Knights from getting NESARA announced. Therefore, the White Knight leaders have decided to change their announcement date in an effort to be the ones who get NESARA announced. Who is Dove? I don't think nobody really knows who she is as far as who her real name is, her identity. I know she lives in a...
Now, I don't know if he didn't... I'm not... Again, this is an early 2000s conspiracy theory. As much as I'm into conspiracy theories, this is quite a small one that really was quite niche until QAnon. And even then, obviously, it's not something all QAnon believers subscribe to. I don't know if they knew who she was in 2005. I'll have to ask the documentary filmmaker when I speak to him on Doomed this Thursday. But we know it is a woman by the name of Shani Goodwin. And she started this whole thing. Again, she passed away in 2010. And it's still going on.
Washington.
She was in the intelligence service, so she has a lot of contacts that trust her. She has knowledge of the...
Also, I hate to pause it again, but I want to point out this too, because this is something that I've not seen all of this. I wanted to watch all of this with you guys, but I have seen some clips and trailers, and I just want to point something out here. You are going to be... someone in the chat saying it, right? Pingo on the Twitch stream chat. So Q turning to Dove. The other way around, actually. Dove came first. The overlap that you are going to see between the origins of the NESARA conspiracy theory and QAnon are going to, like, blow your mind. It's the same things, but the words are changed. Listen to who Dove is. Does that not sound like Q to you?
Faction 1, Faction 2, and Faction 3 in the government and in the CIA, FBI, intelligence circles and governmental circles. But it wasn't until Four Winds 10 started their website that I realized and they started printing it, because I never have. I called, I think, one time, the phone number, but I didn't have 50 cents a minute to...
Hello, dear friends. It's Sunday, April 28th. I'm told either the White Knights will announce NESARA today or this evening, or Saint Germain will cause the announcement of NESARA on April 29th. In a stroke of financial genius, Saint Germain is doing a legal corporate eviction of the current administration. Truly, friends, this is going to ensure that we do see NESARA announced. Our prosperity program deliveries of the first 31 prosperity programs are still due to be in our hands by April 30th. A reminder, Saint Germain has control of whether we receive our funding from His World Trust, which amounts to over 50% of our full funding amount. And Saint Germain has zero tolerance for anyone who is anti-NESARA. He's worked for hundreds of years to bring us NESARA's blessings, and he expects us to support NESARA.
Hold on, that image of Saint Germain next to the Colonel is very funny. You guys see that? Also, I want to point out the Dove. She had her grift planned out much better than Q. 50 cents a minute for her phone call updates for the NESARA hotline.
He expects us to support NESARA in all we do.
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
The way I see it happening is, first the announcement will happen, and then that will be followed by the resignations of Bush, Cheney, Ashcroft, and all of his cabinet members. They will be replaced by an interim government that's already been selected by the White Knights, who are the human component of who's doing the changes. Within 96 hours following the announcement, we will also have the Ascended Masters appear on our television screens and introduce themselves to us, because they play a huge part in the evolution of this planet. Okay, after that happens, the prosperity funds will be released, and we will begin to work with our new government that's interim.
Then there will be another more formal, long-lasting election take place for the 4-year program. And personally, I believe that Jesus Christ will be the head of that government.
Bill Clinton, despite what people think, how low life he was, how he had sex with Monica Lewinsky and all that, I think he was set up basically on that, and he knows how evil this Illuminati conspiracy is, okay? And even though his maternal grandmother was a Rockefeller, deep down in his heart, he really loathed these people. Bill Clinton could be the interim leader. At some point after NESARA's announcement, the funds will be released.
This sounds so much like QAnon belief stuff, right? Interim leaders and who's really running the show, and someone coming back to life to run as the president and take their rightful place where they're supposed to be. And weird, Democrats actually, a certain big name Democrat actually is one of the good guys. I mean, it's no surprise that conspiratorial thinkers also hated Bush. I mean, that was a dynamic that existed then for sure. Even if they were, right wing. He said he wasn't, but the religious right, he's right there. He's probably just saying he's not a neocon. Let's keep watching.
People will receive funding letters. They'll go to their banks, and they'll receive large sums of money.
Money coming from nowhere, almost falling in your lap. It's like, you're supposed to get interesting checks every month. Thousands of dollars or something like that, to that effect.
Prosperity programs were set up by Ascended Master Saint Germain over 250 years ago when he walked the planet. He set up a world trust that today is worth decillions, or I don't even know how to pronounce it. There's so many zeros. It's just mind-boggling. There's just a ton of programs. I don't even know a third of them. But these programs were set up and designed so that only people of good intention would get into them. Like the farm claims had claims writers that would go around and talk to people, and it was word of mouth strictly. They weren't allowed to advertise.
9 years ago, 1993 or 92, I had opportunity. I got word from a friend of mine. It wasn't you. I wish it would have been. His name was Mac. Mac and I were very close, extremely close, like brothers, like you and I, and like Jeremy and a few of the other guys.
A lot of them had small entry fees, like the farm claims. You had to put down $300.
I said, there's no way in God's earth to come up with 300. I plotted and I schemed to be able to have the money. I prayed to whatever God I prayed to. And when I got it, because I had a free paycheck in March of that year, the last paycheck, I took that entire paycheck and bought myself the papers.
Why did people do it? I don't know. I mean, they just felt like it was going to happen.
Didn't know it at that time, and I was skeptical because I just didn't know where it was going to go. And so I started to participate.
It turned out that I was going to get $37 million. Hey, to me, that is still a heck of a lot of money. Okay. First year went by. Second year went by. Okay. Was I a fool? Third year went by. Fourth year went by.
10 years went by.
And it has been subdued, it has been set aside, it has been ignored for years because of the total change, I'm sure, that is about to occur when this takes place.
As most people know, the mass prosperity deliveries and funding will only be done after NESARA is announced. All of us need to do what we can to get NESARA announced for the benefit of the world, our loved ones, and ourselves. We on the Internet are now organizing NESARA action teams. We know that we must contribute our efforts in order for NESARA to be announced. I've rarely asked you calling this number to do anything, but we all need to do all we can to ensure NESARA is announced soon.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Come on in. We got some pizza there. What's left of it? Oh, you want it? I got a bellyache already. I ate one, part of that one. Y'all want it? All right, this is Sherlock A. Collins with you in a few minutes, soon after news. We're going to get started here. We got our guest here is Jim. We're going to talk about NESARA. That's the National Economic Stabilization and Recovery Act. So we're going to get some history and some updates on what NESARA is all about. I'm going to turn the microphone over to Jim, and when he's done speaking and saying what he needs to say, he will at that time open it up for callers. Since he is a guest, we'll take 10 minutes per caller with the right to call back. But however, remember this, first-time callers get top priority over second-time callers. And the second-time callers will get top priority over third-time callers. So that's the way it is. Jim, welcome here to the...
Just got to say, I think Sam Cedar of the Majority Report needs to institute that rule. Let's continue.
Thank you, Sherlock. I'm glad to be here. I want to thank RJ for setting this up. I know that he's a good friend of yours. And
Oh, yeah, I like RJ, and normally anybody that he likes, I like, but there's been one maybe that... Forget it, but
well,
we're not talking about that.
We won't go there.
Okay.
All right, I'd like to open up with a brief invocation. I'd like to call upon the Creator of all that is to be here today, that people's hearts and minds will be open to the concepts that we're going to be talking about, that the station will be protected against any problems that we have sometimes with interruptions. I'd like to start out by telling a little bit about what NESARA is. NESARA is the framework, the legal framework that will restore a constitutional government to this planet, okay? And it's already passed into law, it's already been through Congress, and it's already been signed into law by Bill Clinton. So they had everything ready to go. 1 year later, it was scheduled to be announced in October of 2001. On September 11th, the announcement was going to be made in New York City by Alan Greenspan. As we know, that morning, 2 planes hit the World Trade Center and preempted the announcement of NESARA. Okay, this was a desperate act by those dark forces that would want to continue in power, continue to rob us and rape us and keep us in slavery.
I'm a home caregiver. I was taking care of an elderly gentleman, and we turned the TV on because he liked to watch TV when he was eating breakfast, and we saw it actually happen on television, and we watched it the whole day.
Jeanette came around the house over there. came running out when I was cleaning the restrooms and see if there's any towels and toilet paper that needs to be cleaned. And she comes running out and with one of the clients and goes, they just hit the one tower and they're just coming in from the other one. I says, first thing that I said was, were they terrorists? Because days before that, it seemed like I was seeing planes being, flying into buildings.
We got up about an hour after the first, shortly before the second plane hit the towers. And she was in tears watching it, and I just couldn't believe what I was watching.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I felt at the time that it was our own people that did it. I felt it was the CIA and our own government behind it. I did not feel that it was bin Laden.
I didn't ever believe that it was Iranian terrorists or anything like that. I knew it was planned and executed by elements within our own government.
The dark has issued you a monumental challenge that you can and will overcome. Remember who you are and that you are never alone. The pronouncements of heaven are made possible much more intensive surveillance of the dark ones. This in turn has allowed increased interactions between those who are working to transform your world and us. Now, do you understand that part?
I'm sorry, just for a second here. Gotta read this. Sally is reading the weekly update from the Galactic Federation. All right, Sally, continue.
Remember, 9/11 was allowed to happen on a spiritual level, but even our galactic helpers were clueless that it was going to happen. So it was to see how we could work as a team and what could be. Their sacrifice brought us to a consciousness level unsurpassed. And the Galactic Federation had to find that out also.
All right, we got some good. I saw other people caught that too. I made a face. I didn't know if I wanted to stop it just to point it out, but he, our main man there, Jim's his name, right? Iranian terrorists. All right, I caught that one too. Also, plurred or preferred. I'm sorry, preferred, or however you say your username. I'm sorry. Earlier I saw that, you pointed out that they're just talking about welfare, right? And yeah. Amazing how these sort of like religious right-wingers suddenly are super pro welfare when it comes in the form of like this conspiracy theory and everything's just eliminated like that, but call it welfare program, and they probably would have been like, we can't give this to those poors when they're talking about themselves. What is there was PaleWeb still exists, does it? Oh yeah? Who said that? Hold on, let me just find this in the chat. Oh, it was Dreezy, Sally Organa. Right. She's right. Yeah. Oh man. Or maybe it's Sally Amadalia. What was that? Padme, right? All right, let's continue.
They were caught off guard, but not the spiritual hierarchy. They honored the dead.
Greetings, Mother in the light of the most radiant one, in the office of the Christ, and only in the office of the Christ. We invoke the loving energies of Saint Germain and the Violet Flame.
Right now, the biggest thing the humans need to get is that they have to get over their anger. Yes, we know 15,000 people died.
9/11. Not 3,000, 15,000.
That is correct. And we were there instantly to beam them up out of that building as they were jumping out of those buildings. That is 9/11, you could see shuttlecraft right next to the building.
To your knowledge, have you ever been born?
All right, that was Happy Halloween, guys, right? Christ. That was intense. Jeez.
Yes.
All right, let me just get back to that question.
We're jumping out of those shuttlecraft right next to the building.
To your knowledge, have you ever been born?
Yes.
That was unconscious, though.
Right.
It would be the same for me also.
I had my personal UFO. When I lived in southern Utah, it would follow me wherever I went. If I came up here to Salt Lake, it would travel right along with me. And I was not the only one that saw it. My boys saw it, and whoever was in my car was aware of it also. And if I would go down to St. George, it would follow me. If I went down to Arizona, it would travel with me wherever I went for a whole summer. And I knew it was the same one because it was just a telepathic thing that I knew that was the same one, and he was communicating with me.
Like Michael was saying when he was going up past Hill Field, and then
I feel like you really need to be like a level of narcissist to believe that, like, out of all the people on Earth, there's a UFO just following you personally, like just you, and it's just you. I mean, oh my God.
all of those, they're darker underneath, but still, some of them are just a different texture than the others that are around them. Most of them, the bigger ones, are just, I would say they're kind of like what we would call destroyers, but they're not destroyers of that.
Those are clouds.
I'm just saying that they're not the big motherships.
Those are clouds.
Why do you think that they haven't tried to make contact, or they haven't made contact?
If on Star Trek, when you're listening, the Prime Directive is no interference, that's still part of it. You can call in your spirit guides and helpers, that's not interfering. But in an evolving, in something that's evolving like it is and growing, non-interference is their prime directive that they have to do unless the spiritual hierarchy gives them what is called a special dispensation or a special permission to interfere, which they've done occasionally.
So some people have asked, well, why does Jesus need a spaceship? Well, it might be a little more comfortable coming through space in a ship than just zooming through with your head, you know?
They've lost me now. I was always under the belief that heaven was not in outer space. It was like another plane of being, right? Like you or I just can't keep traveling upwards and eventually hit heaven while still being alive. Do you know what I mean? I am very lost right now as to what they believe. Let's continue.
Like Superman, it might be a little more comfortable to be on a ship. And also in my studies, I understand that there is a spaceship underneath the Sphinx at the Giza Pyramid. And that was his ship.
All right, she's brought me back to reality. That's a much more believable conspiracy theory than Jesus traveling through space because on a ship because it's more comfortable than him just like traveling head first, as she put it, like Superman. I'll go with the spaceship under the Great Pyramids or the Sphinx or whatever it was that she said again.
This one, that very definitely is a spaceship right there. And we feel that this was a great ship, the larger ship.
And the Grimm said, I don't know, I can't recall if how many times they've mentioned it in this, but I want to make it clear to anyone just tuning in that they're Mormons, right? We're in Utah, so they're Mormons. It should be obvious, I think, but I think they're actually ex-Mormons. I think this is a cult of ex-Mormons, technically. These are people who are part of the Open Mind Forum. Yes, they are excommunicated Mormons called the Open Mind Forum. And they follow the Dove of Oneness, Shani Goodwin, who is the source of the NESARA the NESARA conspiracy theory. So for anyone who's lost and needed a quick summary to catch them up here.
And it doesn't show as well here, but we were taking a picture of the chemtrail that formed an A for Archangel Michael, and we just thought that was remarkable.
We got chemtrails, baby.
And then when it came back, we've got all these little tiny ships all in through here, and that very definitely is one. And then, see, there's a shadow right here with a circle and then a line. We didn't see that when we took the picture, but it certainly did show up. That's very definitely a benevolent being there.
Peggy? Yes.
If we're not going to be on the planet, why do we need the money?
I can't hear her back here. Can she stand up?
That's a good question. Okay. Well, maybe
What was the question?
the question was... Come on in.
Just repeat the question after they ask it.
Okay, the question was, and this is a very good question, is if we're not going to be on the planet, then why do we need the money? Okay, that's a very good question. I've asked that very same question myself. And what I believe, this is my belief, is that only certain people aren't going to be on the planet. There will be only around 40,000 of the first wave moving below the Earth's surface, and they will be leaving on the 21st October at 3 a.m. local time.
Whoa, 21st of October. What a perfect day to have Doomed on Thursday, where I'm talking to the documentary filmmaker who made this movie. I'm excited now. Here we go. October 21st, an important day in the NESARA cult.
No, you knew that.
Because why? We remember in council, you, myself, and your wife, Adriana, had objected very strenuously about most of the members of the first wave, which we are, having to go inner Earth.
Right.
We have our berths are up in the one of the ship that you command, and in the ship that Commander Atan has and Commander Athena.
Our soul group is...
Frank asked in the chat, because Doug on the roof goes, he said the date. And Frank goes, did you plan that? I absolutely did not. I've actually wanted to have... I wanted to do this episode prior to September 11th, because I thought the theme there was obvious, being that 9/11 plays such an important role in the NESARA conspiracy theory. I mean, if 9/11 doesn't happen, I don't know what the NESARA thing turns into, because I doubt any of these people knew about NESARA before September 11th, because the whole point is it doesn't happen. And they find out about it, and they believe it was past and didn't happen because 9/11. I had no clue. October 21st. It is a sign. If I was the type of person who believed in that sort of stuff, I would now try to make my pitch to you guys that you should all follow me. The reincarnate of the Dove of Oneness, and call my NESARA hotline. It's no longer 50 cents a minute, because times have changed. Inflation has set in, and NESARA has not. $1 a minute. And I'd give you my number to call. And I'd take advantage of that sweet, sweet grift. But no, it was complete. I'm actually quite surprised. I'm excited now to see what happens October 21st. Maybe we all ascend. As we're talking to the filmmaker Zeb on Thursday.
Marge and I, our daughter, our son, and our grandson. And what's interesting about that was our grandson was born through Marjorie and lived for 2 hours and died. And then he reincarnated through our grandson, and so now he's back with us. So,
He recognizes us. Every
Do
time
ya?
he sees us, he jumps into our arms.
Yeah.
He's so happy to see us. He's home again.
so it's getting very close, people. The day of deliverance that's talked about by all the prophecies is upon us. Okay.
I just want to make it clear in my mind what's happening so I can make a choice. But suppose I'm of the first wave.
You are first wave, ma'am.
Thank you.
Very simple, you are first wave.
But suppose I should stay on the earth instead of getting a ship, and I don't know.
When the time comes, your DNA will be is already encoded. The frequencies that are being beamed down or beamed across many different stargates will activate those particular codings in you.
Okay. Now here's something to talk with Zeb on Thursday about. I actually don't know this. I need to look more into the Dove of Oneness in terms of what she was specifically pushing surrounding NESARA, and what are these specific people that this specific NESARA cult that he covered, if their beliefs are unique in and of itself. Because I know the NESARA belief in terms of the law and George Bush and 9/11 and the Iraq War and what they felt NESARA was going to do. And I knew there was alien component here, but I did not know some of this in terms of the like rapture-esque facets of this belief. And now I'm not sure if this is a NESARA related thing or if this is specific to the Open Mind Forum. I'm assuming Shani Goodwin, aka the Dove of Oneness, I'm assuming she did say this stuff. And perhaps this didn't go forward with the main NESARA belief that circulates among QAnon today. Because they basically, the Open Mind Forum here, basically follow her, what she's posting, right? The Dove drops. Again, another like QAnon-esque thing, right? Right? Like, is it like what did QAnon do on his website? And here they are calling a hotline and going to her site. And when I say QAnon, I don't mean his website. I mean his postings on 8kun, aka 8chan.
I, Prince Omnipi of Contra Samaria, binary star system located in headquarters of Andromeda, do salute my brothers and sisters of the first wave who have served so well with me and around me and because of me, and sometimes not booting me in, but everybody all over the galaxies are watching you now. They are applauding you because you have the audacity to do it. But yours has been one of the most advanced light waves of light workers that has ever been known for the last 40 billion light years.
Yay! Congratulations!
Give yourself a big hand.
This has been looked about for many, not just millions of years, many billions of years. This has been foretold even in the annals of the times that weren't Yes, sir. No.
Okay, I
Yes.
have a problem with, my son's father is a follower of Hatan, or Hatan, I guess.
Madratan?
Yeah.
He is also a god, Hatan.
Uh-huh. Well,
He is one of the more better ones that we've had for a long, long time. He was a god in Lesser Egypt for approximately 9,000 years.
but do we need to worship him? Because I cannot worship him. I
No,
do not
no,
give
he
him
is not
any,
meant- no, that
at
he
all.
He never sought
You know,
worship.
he is not my
No,
whatever.
he is not. He
And I have a
is-
problem because
No.
with my son's dad, because we.
Madratan. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. My husband passed away about 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Is there a possibility?
Well, he's
we'll
his
work
spirit's been
together?
here with us while watching you. He's helping you out.
See? Possibility we'll be together in doing this then.
Oh yes. We have our doubts. Oh, how we have our doubts.
I mean, that's the crux of it, right? I mean, it's sad. It's sad. It's a bunch. You know, this is the common aspect of all these conspiracy theories that I cover on this show and elsewhere. It's people who are struggling to understand the hardships that they face, and instead of just dealing with the reality of the situation, they need to come up with what you see here, this. And you got people like that poor woman who's crying basically about her husband who passed away, and she's got this feeling of hope that she'll be with him on the spaceship. And this guy up there speaking, who I don't know if this guy's a grifter of any sort. I don't know what his role is in the group. He seems honestly like he's just in the same position as she is, except he acts like he knows. He wants this position of feeling like he's got power, I guess, because it doesn't really look like he does. Which is why he talks about, like he knows what he's talking about. Basically just saying this and leading her on, which is, it's sad. It's sad.
Because every once in a while I said, what if I am wrong? What if that knock on the head and when I first found out about myself, in 1979, April the 9th, at 11:45, I'm riding a motorcycle. The next thing, I ain't. I'm deader than a doornail.
So what about the people that you knew previously while you were alive?
I still have memory.
They don't notice the difference in your
Oh, they
behavior?
did. My mother noticed the difference. My mother noticed the difference. But her son was already a rocket scientist at the age of 8 years old. Just because I got banged on the head, I laid out on a desert floor for 5.5 hours, totally dehydrated, looked like a shriveled prune. When I came back in, I noticed things were different. And I said, Mom, could any unclean thing come into my body while I was unconscious on the desert floor? Because death never entered my mind. Mm-hmm. I was an LDS 70. I know the church very well. There ain't nothing about the church I don't know. This little old 70 man of the Mormon church within 4 months after the experience, I was excommunicated from the Mormon church.
Great spirits, great power, it is heresy. There are no miracles, no signs to hear and see. No God above the earth for fools to bow the knee. It is heresy. Heresy, heresy. Stories were foretold by prophets of old. Great spirits above, full of service and of love. Never, never, do not believe these things you think you hear and see. Great spirits, great powers, It is heresy. No miracles, no signs to see. It is heresy. Do not believe. It is heresy.
The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints feels that
I was waiting for this. I was wondering exactly what got them excommunicated. I guess we're going to find out right now.
it is all-inclusive. And their religion teaches sound principle upon which to govern life. They teach love and compassionate service. They teach kindness and gentleness. They teach a higher social life on a general basis. However, it is still a religion under the direction of humanity.
They teach you good family relationships for the most part, and I've learned how to become a public speaker there. I was really shy. If you would have known me, you know.
He was. I had to ask him to dance or we would have never met.
That's how shy I was. So
He's
yeah,
come a long ways.
It really helped my
self-esteem.
self-esteem a lot, and I had various leadership positions, so I learned some leadership roles.
I know with my bishop, I was bearing my testimony to him every week. You know, I'd go in and stop in and say hi to him, and basically it made him feel uncomfortable that I was questioning certain habits they had that were politics or policy, and not doctrine, and couldn't bring it to jive with, you know, the handbook but it was scripture, they weren't doing it right. They weren't doing it right.
I saw a lot of hypocrisy. I saw our bishop, our stake presidents, I saw them violating the Sabbath day, not keeping it holy, and I wondered, well, if they can't do it, then how can I become perfect enough to become a candidate for the celestial kingdom?
And I always believed that there were scientific answers for how angels and God and Heavenly Father were. I thought, well, spaceships are cool. I realize all spaceships don't look silver, aren't made of some sort of metal that we don't have or understand on Earth, that they can sometimes look like Earth with a atmosphere skin and travel through. I mean, I've always been into science fiction or fantasy, whatever you want to say. And so I was claiming that Jesus and the angels, you know, the host of heavens were coming back on spaceships, and my bishop really didn't like that one.
I was excommunicated from the LDS Church for believing the original teachings of the church itself. Yeah, and I belonged to the fundamentalists. I was part of a polygamist group for 10 years.
No, you can't go meet with these people, you can't study this, you can't. Can't read these books, can't be with these people, can't go to these meetings. Well, that sent hackles up on a lot of us. You know, that's not right. That is Satan's way, according to the gospel. You know, there was no agency, no choice and accountability. The choice they gave you, the accountability was, you'll just get X'd. And they did. They X'd a lot of people. A lot of the people I hang out with that you've met. And there were hundreds of us.
I have the great privilege of belonging to the Patriarchal Church of Jesus Christ for about 10 years. Good thing it only took me 10 years to be excommunicated from that one, and it took me 40 years to be twice excommunicated from the Mormon Church.
I was very popular in the Mormon ward that we lived in Washington, and overnight I lost every friend that I had in the Mormon Church.
We both did.
Because they teach their people that if someone leaves the church, they're a son of perdition, and they're to be avoided because they don't want those people to be influenced by those that leave. So I didn't, virtually overnight, I didn't have any friends, and it was kind of hard at first.
My excommunication paper says conduct unbecoming a member, basically, is what they did, because I told them I would not, when the time came for my actual court, which was, they kind of postponed it for my daughter coming home in February. So from the time I turned it in November, it just kind of sat on the back burner, waiting for my missionary daughter to come home in February. And then I was exed in June of '93. I came across that paper a while back as I was cleaning some stuff up. And I was like, I've been exed for 10 years. Woohoo! My life changed. Woohoo! The kicker is LDS people believe in UFOs or off-world or ETs. It's part of our basic core belief. I guess that's why it was so natural for me.
The reason that the LDS do the genealogy is so they can search out the bloodlines, okay, and they can find the most pure reptilians, because the more reptilian DNA that you have, the easier it is to be controlled. See, basically, there's two races on the planet. There's the humanoids, or humans, and the reptilians. And the reptilians are...
Hell yeah.
And they're hybrid children.
Yeah, and there's a lot of, there's an individual that came to Yentai's meeting that's a hybrid, okay, and he's got a tail. And it's interesting. And he knows it. He knows he's a reptilian.
Oh, Christ.
Everything is based on fear. When you're dealing with the reptilians from, the off-worlders, the dark agenda ones, the dark overlords, the Ankara system, all of the above, whatever words you want to do. It's part of our play. It's part of what we wrote in.
It's incredible. This is really incredible. It's not so much the beliefs themselves. We know people believe in the reptilians. It's just how they're talking about it, right? To get excommunicated from the Mormons, right? You gotta really be out there, I guess.
And volunteered for, but the human-reptilian conflict has been going on for millennia, on many different worlds.
I have never seen a reptilian, per se. They have the ability to take on a human shape. They're shapeshifters, and they literally can shapeshift back into their native mode. And there are eyewitnesses that have actually observed this. And basically, I believe that the Illuminati is basically made up mostly of these reptilians that are in this Illuminati. Not to say that all reptilians are bad, they're not. Okay, I suspect there's reptilians.
I think that's the line of the movie. Dude, I don't know. Whoa, I'm getting ahead of myself here. I don't want to offend all the reptilians. Oh my. It's like, oh, don't want the cancel culture mob coming after me. Not all reptilians.
Even within the Open Mind Forum. Okay? And even the scientists will tell us that even the human brainstem is of reptilian origins. Basically, obviously the Bush family, the Rockefeller family, the Queen of England, Tony Blair, basically most of the main leaders of the world are basically in on this Illuminati conspiracy.
Sometimes I'm almost embarrassed being in the group with, when everyone else is walking in, like say in the restaurant. and when we're talking something that people might think we're strange about, and that it's something that they don't talk about, in their work day or to their friends about, that people are looking at us like we're strange. And I'm trying to overlook that. Sometimes I'm kind of getting a chuckle, I guess, to the fact that some of the things that Jim is talking about is a little bit crazy, and not even a fruitcake.
With all my being, I choose to live in that higher vibrational frequency. And I am totally different than I've ever been, and totally grateful. There are people in my life who believe I'm totally insane.
Yeah! Join the crowd. My sister is a very staunch Mormon, and she sort of ridicules everything that I believe. And Marjorie's family, for the most part, felt that I was crazy.
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear Joey!
My children, they won't let me talk to my grandchildren because they're afraid that I will talk to my grandchildren about UFOs. And they say, Mom, you can't talk about the crazy stuff. Okay, what's the crazy stuff? Well, Mom. You mean the UFOs and the extraterrestrials? Yes, Mom, you can't talk about that to the children because they're going to believe you. Okay. So I don't.
What does your husband think of the open line forum? He'll occasionally go when I kind of drag him kicking and screaming, depending on who's speaking. I'm not sure if any of the brethren over at the church, when he would go, would say, "Can't you get your wife under control?" But that was said to him from one of the guys at work.
And there was one time when I think at the corner of my eye I seen somebody enjoying their food go, and then finally Jim said something like that. Remember that? It's like I can kind of since there's sort of a pact there that when there's like a lot of people that agree on the same thing, I think it kind of helps people maybe not be so embarrassed. So I was like,
Wait, hold
in
on.
my Scientology.
I didn't notice. Is he? Wait, what? Oh, he is. Look at that. I got to go back. Well, okay.
Oh, when I kind of drag him kicking
That dude
and
is
screaming,
sleeping,
depending
right?
on who's speaking. I'm not sure if any of the brethren
I didn't even
church, when
notice.
he would go, would
I was
say,
too busy
"Can't
looking
get
at
your wife
her.
under control." But that was said to him from one of the guys at work.
And there was one time when I think at the corner of my eye I seen somebody enjoying their food go, and then finally Jim said something like that. Remember that? It's like I can kind of since there's sort of a pact there that when there's like a lot of people that agree on the same thing, I think it kind of helps people maybe not be so embarrassed. So I was like, in my Scientology training, you learn to block out a lot of things.
And then I have another daughter in Oregon that she won't even let me sit next to the child.
I'm grateful for the people who think I'm totally insane because they make me evaluate, okay, who am I really, and what is it I really believe? See, what is it? Damn it! What is it that I really believe? Honestly, here and here. What is it I really believe?
When you're talking about a radical shift like this, you're talking about people that have held power for centuries and centuries, and now all of a sudden they're going to be asked to give up that power. You think they're going to go down, you know, without kicking and screaming?
Well, we may have to have some Uzis to back it up.
Well, I don't think we're going to need to do that, Sherlock.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But I know there's plenty of patriotic Americans out there that would not be adverse to picking up a gun, and you know. But I honestly don't believe we're going to have to shed any blood.
That's good.
Or very little. Back 10 years ago, when we were into the doom and gloom.
Listen, let's not go there with the Uzis. I don't think we're going to have to shed any blood. Maybe just a little. Jeez.
Survivalist mentality and guns and butter, you know, get your food storage and get your guns and your ammo, because we're going to head for the hills, you know, we're going to take on the whole government, right?
Been there, done that.
We've been there, done that, right?
Yep.
Okay, I had an arsenal in my basement that would make, that I could outfit a small army. I'm not joking.
See, but the problem is that someone always will have a bigger gun than you.
That's exactly what I came to realize is, and you know, it was a highway patrolman one time. He said, Jim, because I made a stupid statement like I do sometimes. I said, you know, if this happens, I'm going to just barricade myself in my house, and they're just. He says, yeah, and you know what they'll do? They'll come with a tank and they'll just blow your door off. You know, and he's right, isn't he?
Somebody got a bigger gun.
Because there's always going to be somebody with a bigger gun, right?
Right.
So is violence the answer?
No, absolutely not.
We just heard of some events that happened just yesterday. We heard that actually Mr. Cheney was put under house arrest by white knights, and also Mr. Rumsfeld may be sharing that same fate.
That sounds pretty good. So Dick Cheney's got put under. How come they didn't do that to Skull and Bones Bush there yet?
Well, because he still has a key role in all this, and the play is still playing out, and he may end up yet playing a major part in this. Okay.
Okay.
So. You know, we can't count him out of the game yet.
Okay.
But under NESARA, Mr. Bush, in fact, all of their resignations have already been videotaped. They're already in the Library of Congress. They've all
another moment
put their
where it's
resignations
like
out
deja
there,
vu with QAnon.
and we will be seeing those resignations on all major television networks very soon.
Hey, that sounds great. Sounds like we're eventually going to take our country back, and then once we take our country back, my duty as a talk show host to expose all this corruption will come to an end at that time, and then I'll have to develop a new format and maybe get into pro wrestling announcing or something. Bill, your turn. You got 10 minutes. At least use it wisely.
I always do, Sherlock. You know that.
Okay.
I'd like to ask your guest, you say you believe in the Constitution of the United States?
Absolutely.
Explain to me how an act of where all the government resigns is in compliance with the Constitution.
That's a good question, Bill. That's a really good question. Basically,
It's not there, is it?
What isn't there?
The ability of forcing all of the government to resign. There is procedure spelled out in the body of the Constitution, Section 1 and Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, that tells how anyone that resigns, or if they kick somebody out on, like they did Traficant, then there is a procedure they have to follow. Another thing, if Alan Greenspan was to be the one to announce it, isn't Alan Greenspan the mouthpiece for the group, the Federal Reserve, that you guys hate so badly? And you're claiming that he is going to be the one that announces the change? And they blow up 2 towers, kill 3,000 people to muffle that announcement. Why couldn't they just say, whoops, Greenspan's in the hospital, he's had a stroke? And that
This guy's poking holes in everything. Our boy's flustered here.
Would delay it any time that they wanted to.
Well, I think your view is very narrow and very.
My view is not narrow. My view is in compliance with the Constitution.
Bill,
your view is out of compliance and therefore a criminal act.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Okay, Bill. Well, thank you for your
Now, my
comments.
10 minutes isn't up yet, is it, Sherlock?
Oh, you got about 6 more.
Okay. Well, let me just say this: that you're looking at things the way they're supposed to be as a constitutional republic. It is actually being restored to the original Constitution.
By whom?
By the White Knights.
Who are they?
The
White Knights of Columbus?
That's pretty cute, Bill. No, the White Knights basically are a coalition of people in our government. A lot of military people.
Your 10 minutes are up there, Bill. We got to go to the next caller.
I'll leave on this note.
We are blessed to have a channel, a very clear channel that resides in Colorado, and we were fortunate enough to sit with St. Germain on Sunday night, and I'd like to give you a brief report. The changes that a lot of you are experiencing, the dizziness, the headaches, the sleepless nights, and all this, expect more of the same, with more intensity, with time speeding up more and more as we come down the funnel's neck. Okay? We are also looking forward to a step up in help from our galactic friends, okay? Because Mr. Bush continues to pursue his insane drive to start a war on this planet, and St. Germain says, it ain't gonna happen, guys. We may get right to the brink, but it is not gonna happen. War has been canceled on this planet. The latest Dove report that came out this morning said that the U.S. military, 95% of them are on our side. They want NESARA. Okay, they may not know about NESARA, but they want what NESARA represents, which is freedom, liberty, freedom from war, prosperity. Okay, I mean, who in the right mind wouldn't want that? Who wants the old paradigm? Who wants to go on with this bullshit of having no money, having to constantly fight all these useless wars that we never win? They won't let anybody win. Making bombs and missiles and, you know,
sending your kids to be slaughtered while theirs go off to college or some other place.
It's like, how many people want that? Raise your hands.
80% taxation.
Yeah.
80% taxation? How many people want that? Okay.
In your face government.
All right.
And we have to give up our freedom because we want security.
And yet, there's people in our own midst that are actively promoting anti-NESARA. And I have to wonder, what is their motive? What are they thinking?
They aren't.
What are they thinking? Why would somebody be anti something that has so many positive benefits?
Mind control. They're under mind control.
Mind control. Well, could it be that maybe they have a secret agenda? Okay.
No, I think they're just ignorant.
I don't. No, I can't buy that.
Maybe they haven't seen the law that was passed.
I can't buy that. I can't buy it. I mean, we just aren't not going to let the dark overrun us, okay? We know what they have planned for us, don't we? Okay? We've all heard the horror stories about the railroad cars and the shackles and the guillotines and the camps and all that stuff, right? Okay?
No.
That's not in my reality.
That's right.
You don't want to go there, do you?
No.
Okay? Well, trust me, they have those things.
On one hand, I am an optimist, and I feel that it's going to be possible, that it is going to come forth, that it is going to work, and that we will become sovereign, and we will have the ascension of the earth into a paradisiacal glory, and that we will be with Jesus as our leader. But if it should not happen, then the earth will be destroyed.
Now is the time to make your choice.
Exactly.
Now's the time to knock down the fence. You're either on one side or the other. You can't sit on the fence any longer because there ain't no fence. It just isn't there. You're either for or against, period.
It's just the choice.
And this is where the laws have been drawn.
What did God say about fence sitters?
I would that ye be either hot or cold. If ye be lukewarm, I will spew you out of my mouth.
Out of my mouth. Right now, we need to be totally focused on NESARA and what we want, okay?
Fighting over
Any little doubt, now this is a heavy statement, any little doubt that you have, thoughts or things, okay? Every little doubt means that you are serving the dark side. The dark, dark, dark side.
Any little doubt
Okay.
about anything or just about?
Now that's a heavy condemnation, isn't it? Okay.
Remember in Doom, fear is the mind killer.
That's right.
Ooh, I am your father.
That's
No,
right.
have faith.
So make
All the
sure.
movies lead
Yeah,
you to
faith is
the-
what it's about, Renee.
So make sure that you're protected.
Oh, I want some of that sweet NESARA merch. She's wearing a NESARA shirt.
Yourself every day and monitoring your thoughts, and if any of those negative thoughts creep in, use the violet flame of transmutation to instantly transmute that. I'd say that I've had fleeting doubts, but you know, I always go back to the fact that you know,
in your
that
heart.
we know that
Yes.
this is going to happen.
Yes.
There's never been any long-term doubts in my heart.
Is that the same for you, Marjorie?
Yes, it is. It is. With all my heart, I have no doubts.
I'd say it's more frustration than doubt. It's just, why can't they do it, you know?
That's the big thing. He gets frustrated. He's anxious, as we all are.
I'm beginning to wonder if it's really going to happen. Because I feel that if it had happened a year ago, if they had taken the bull by the horns and done it a year ago, that we would be much further. But by the delays, they have weakened the whole thing. And by they, I mean the impending forces.
Mother, I just want you to kind of hone yourself now and just have A, B, C, D. How many minutes are we away from, and what's being mobilized right now to actualize NESARA on screen? In the
Right now,
24 hours would be nice.
Here's this person
right
again.
now, there are 200 million motherships in orbit around your planet that are at least 5,000 miles in diameter, if not more, besides all the billions of inter-universal forces that have come in. At the same time, the White Knights are mobilized. White Knights are mobilized with intergalactic communication technology where they can instantly interact with all of us. We take a moment to drink some water.
Everybody that believes in a Christian faith, they're all looking towards the return of their Savior, Jesus Christ. Okay, and what makes you think that Jesus Christ isn't already on the way? Okay, what I'm telling you right now is that Jesus Christ, along with a lot of other helpers, is here right now working with the White Knights and they are going to restore this nation, this world, to a free and sovereign planet again, like it was designed to be. Okay, we are talking about superior forces. You know, we've been hearing the reports here and there about reports of blue streaks over Washington, D.C. that the F-16s couldn't keep up with. I personally witnessed a flyover by UFOs during the 2002 Olympics. I saw the jets scramble out of Hill Field. 15 F-16s flew over, scrambling to try to chase these things. These forces are here, and these are the forces that I'm talking about.
Jim?
Yes.
You know, me and RJ, while RJ and I agree on a lot of things, there's few things RJ and I butt heads against. You know, RJ's a good, dear friend, okay? But, you know, if you're familiar with Iron Mountain Report.
I was very familiar with the Iron Mountain Report, and that was one of the dark agenda plots, was to stage a phony alien invasion. If you look at what's been portrayed in the media, how the aliens have been portrayed, it's generally in an unfavorable light. The aliens are here to you know, impregnate our women and cut out our rectums and mutilate our cattle. And I believe this is all part of the dark agenda plot. However, we don't look at the other side of the equation.
I've seen E.T. also by Steven Spielberg, and I think that's just a movie, but if you expect me to believe some of this stuff, you're singing to the choir when it concerns me. So that's why I say,
well,
if that's where you're heading, you're going to discredit your whole organization. But go ahead.
I guess that's a matter of opinion.
Greetings! We come again with much to tell you. Momentous and longed-for events have moved another step closer to being manifested. Most important is the official recognition of our existence, yay, and the positive role that we have played in shaping your new transitional government. All right. A wondrous and extraordinary destiny awaits you, dear hearts. As we have said many times, first contact is simply the final positive sign that is indeed unfolding. Soon we shall all be together, and the great celebration will finally begin. Today we have shown you that truly remarkable events are about to transpire. Fantastic, isn't it?
Okay, here's the latest news I got off Reuters tonight, that the intelligence community has been alerted that Bush is going to try to start this war come hell or high water. He doesn't care how many weapons inspectors, he doesn't care how many people demonstrate in the streets. He's going to start this war, and the date is the 26th, which is Sunday. Okay.
January?
We've been told by St. Germain that this will not occur, that if anything is tried, it's going to be stopped. So
yes, it is.
I'm looking for
Damn, St. Germain fell
by
through,
Sunday,
didn't he?
we could have an armada of ships in the skies. Remember when you're little kids and how you'd be off in your little world and you'd be playing with your little imaginary friends and you'd just be building this beautiful world, and then Mom would come in and, Johnny, clean up your room, and there goes your whole dream. Just shatters, right?
On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war.
St. Germain
These are
forgot to
opening
do
stages
some. Whoops.
of what will be a broad and concerted campaign.
You white knights had better get your priorities
Saint
straight and stop
Germain.
delaying NESARA, because you are afraid to take action now that the Bush gang thugs have managed to beat you to the punch and are attacking Iran. The Bush gang launched the attacks this week precisely to try to cause you white knights to delay NESARA. The Bush gang beat you to the punch on 9/11/2001. Are you going to let them beat you again? What a ridiculous and cowardly excuse to delay removing the Bush gang thugs from our government.
Well,
Is that what? Oh.
what I'm hearing from a lot of people today, especially light workers, is that a lot of people are discouraged because we had expectations that this war was going to be stopped, and it wasn't. So anytime we put expectations on things, it sets us up for disappointment. Okay, we don't have to be part of this war. In fact, I look at it as a movie. It's a movie going on. It's not even part of my world. Okay, and every time the news comes on and they say, "Here's an update on the war," click, off goes to another channel. I don't listen to it. Okay, it's not part of my reality. Okay, it doesn't have to be part of any of your realities. Okay, we have no right to judge what's going on. Okay, maybe those people in Iraq had a contract to go through this. Think about that. Okay, do we have a right to intervene in that?
What?
No. Okay, everything is playing out according to divine plan.
The problem I'm having with this, Jim, is that certain things were said that this definitely is going to happen, and now there's this total shift.
Well, who said it though?
The word, as I understood it, was there will not be a war. It will not be allowed to happen.
Okay, and you were placing expectations on those words, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's why you were set up for disappointment. Okay.
It's still.
We have no right to even have any expectations. Okay. We don't know what the full plan is. We don't know how it's all going to unfold. We have to go with the flow because plans change.
And I am comfortable within myself. I've got this sense of peace and I'm centered.
Right.
But still, if there's a feeling of why is one thing said and it doesn't come about?
Agency, that damn.
Free agency. You know, we live in a free will. We wanted this for this experience. Okay. We came here for this
Another
experience.
QAnon moment, right?
We don't want anybody intervening in
parallel
our
there.
affairs. We want to work this out ourselves. Okay, and they're honoring that. Okay, they have to honor the prime directive, which is according to our will, according to the mass consciousness. Now all we can do is put in our 2 cents and vote our conscience. We can participate in our peace rallies and I support what I'm supporting right now is an effort by one of our congressmen to impeach Bush. Okay, I think that has a pretty good chance that it might happen.
And all you're seeing in Iraq is wag the dog. It's smoke and mirrors because there are others over there saying, no, there's nothing happening. No, there's nothing happening. Boom, boom, boom.
How do we know that cruise missiles aren't flying into Baghdad and there's beams of energies that are causing these missiles to explode in the air without killing anybody? We don't know. We don't know what's going on over there.
And then all of a sudden, on cue, the little news people say, oh, yes, there it's going off. Oh, I heard it now. Jeez, get a clue.
John, you got 10 minutes, use it wisely, then we got to go to Ann, which she'd probably have only about 4 minutes, but go ahead.
Yeah, Jim, I'm kind of curious about what you call the bottom line, how happy everybody's going to be when they get the biggest piece of money that's being taken out as taxes. And everybody's going to have twice as much, right?
Well, yes, because what's going to happen when
Well, let me tell you what's going to happen. and I know you're smart enough to know this. I mean, you talk about the Federal Reserve and how they can create money out of nothing. And when you increase that money supply, the prices go up. What do you think is going to happen when you've got a full employment economy already? And you introduce that much money into the pockets of the consumers? There is very little extra production out of the economy you get just because the money's there. All that happens is the prices go up. That's all that happens.
Well, that's a pretty negative outlook, I think.
But I want to point out that you haven't thought this through very well. So what you're proposing is coming down, the speculation of yours, the
No, this isn't speculation.
No.
This is going to happen.
I can tell you that if you are foolish enough to step forward and follow this divinity that's coming, as you say it is, then you belong in hell, which is where you're going.
Well, that's a strong judgment, isn't it?
You bet it is. If you are going to follow this group that you say are coming as the true Christ, if you can't discern the true Christ from more than that, based on some half-washed arguments about the Federal Reserve Board and Luciferian government that we have, you're going to go straight down, boy. You're going to go straight down.
That's your opinion, sir.
Yes.
You have a right. You have a right to your opinion.
It is my opinion.
All right. Is that the only point you wanted to make? Can we move on to the next caller, Sherlock?
That's up to Johnny. You got 4 minutes left.
Pull up this hand, I guess.
I'm going to go to the restroom.
We were told in numerous one of the updates that we were to start meeting together with other people of like mind, like meeting, going to the peace rallies, meeting with these different people. We would be amazed how many people. It says, "Oh, is that just?" Someone said, "Is this just this one group?" And I said, "Oh no, there's hundreds of us that believe this way. Hundreds. We just don't know where they are yet."
Right on schedule. It may happen as early as Friday or Saturday. They hope, they think they have all the pieces in place. And this is one of the things St. Germain kept telling us, is that all the puzzle pieces have to fall into place before the announcement can happen. And so it looks like they got everything under control. But there's only that one last monkey wrench they can throw in there. Anyway, I hope that gave you a little hope.
They dipped out.
I know Tiny's tired of waiting.
They ran from Utah too.
It's been a long, hard pull.
Damn.
Okay. I want to bring up our guest speakers tonight.
Jimin in August 2004 emailed to filmmakers, "I will dedicate the rest of my life to making NESARA a reality, as it is the only hope mankind has for a totally free world." All right. All right. That was intense. I'm really looking forward now to talking with Zeb Haradan, the documentary filmmaker behind this movie, Waiting for NESARA, on Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, live streamed and via podcast afterwards. Oh, there's a KFC disclaimer at the end there. That's great. I see some people jumped in here late and had no idea what was going on here. We watched the film Waiting for NESARA. It is a 2005 documentary following the Open Mind group. Open Mind Forum, excuse me. A group of excommunicated Mormons in Utah who followed Shani Goodwin, the Dove of Oneness, who is a conspiracy theorist. She died in 2010, but she was alive when this documentary came out. She is basically the person behind the NESARA conspiracy theory. Now, NESARA is a law that was proposed in the late 90s, during the 90s. It never went before Congress. but conspiracy theorists believe it was secretly passed by Congress, and they also believe that it has things in there that the law, even the proposed law, doesn't. They felt like they believe the IRS would have been disbanded, all their debts would be relieved, and basically from there live a life of freedom. There's also a lizard people / aliens / like secret undercover good guys called the White Knights. All these other things wrapped up into it. If you came in late, I urge you to restart this feed and watch the documentary along with us. I had a lot more commentary up front. Towards the end there, I just wanted to see how this all played out, so I stopped all my pauses. I had a lot of pauses and commentating early on. So if you enjoy that, definitely go back and listen if you missed it. A lot of overlaps with QAnon. A lot. The NESARA conspiracy lives on to this day, and a lot of QAnon, not a lot, but there is a subsection of QAnon believers who still believe in it and still push and promote it. There's the dove drops, right? In the same way with the Q drops. There's a number of other things that were overlapped with Q, right? Obviously, the religious overtones, the constantly, the Democratic good guy, right? And Jesus playing the role of, I guess, John JFK Jr., right? There was the idea that that the plans that never came through, we misread it. Everything happens for a reason. Trust the process. Stay tuned. Watch the show. All that fun stuff. Just all that kicking the can down the curb, down whatever the phrase is. SV Harkin says, how did they do the dove drops? Well, the dove of openness, of oneness, the dove of oneness, Shani Goodwin, she had a website and a NESARA hotline, 50 cents a minute. We got lizard people in there. We got chemtrail mentions. There's the there was the belief that there were secret gulags, right? What else? What else do we have there? That was like very Jade Helm, right? All these conspiracy theories overlap. And this was amazing to watch, this early 2000 conspiracy theory basically regurgitate things that we hear in modern day conspiracies via a conspiracy theory that still goes on, right? Doug says, besides the hotline where people charge to be part of this, there was a scene, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was a scene where I saw a guy throwing money in a collection plate when one of the women were speaking. Was that just me who saw that? A woman was speaking and a guy walked over and threw money into a collection plate. Oh, the pyramid spaceship. Thank you. Jesus flying in a spaceship too, because it's easier than him flying like Superman. The Clinton thing, which was the opposite of the usual Clinton thing, right? These guys believe Clinton was the good guy. Because it seems like all these conspiracy theories need the secret Democratic good guy, right? What else? Lots of Star Trek inspiration, says Frank. Right. There was even a guy wearing a Star Trek shirt. They were channeling Saint Germain. Right. Yes. I don't see much Saint Germain nowadays, at least in the more mainstream modern day conspiracy theorists. Otodak says, so the White Knights aren't the Klan then? No, the White Knights are like the, not the deep state, because the White Knights are the good guys. Like the secret good guys. Like I guess Trump would be a white knight. And his allies fighting the deep state with him in government would be the white knights. Five-Head Smooth Brain says, Mormonism, say no more. This all sounds amazing. They're excommunicated Mormons, these guys. So their beliefs too far out for even the Mormons. Again, we watch this because A, it was interesting, and B, I will be talking with the Dreezy says the Jedi Council of the White Knights. Yippee says White Knights were alien. Is that who the White Knights were? I didn't quite understand because at one point he says, instead he says the White Knights are the opposite of the deep state. Right, exactly. I could not tell if the White Knights, if they were saying the White Knights were the aliens or the White Knights were people within the government who are like the good guys fighting against the Illuminati. Somnolux says, Matt, did you listen to the Behind the Bastards on NESARA yet? No, I did not, actually. They did an episode on NESARA? Let me look that up. I'll check it out. All right, cool. So yeah. What else? Let's see. Anthony says no cannibal pedos in this PG-13 version of Q. Venus Boy says White Knights are secret government. Yeah, that's what I thought. The White Knights were not. That's what I thought when I was watching. But then someone said they were the aliens in the chat, and I guess. Is your guy says White Knights are like the White Hats working inside the government to fight against the deep state dark forces. Yeah, that's what I got out of it too. The chat listeners who did not get it confused me and made me think I got it wrong for a second. He says, I think White Knights properly refers to humans who are deputized by good aliens and have higher knowledge and stuff. Basically aspirational secret agent vigilante fantasies, right? I will be asking my guest about the White Knights for sure. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed waiting for NESARA. I will see you all on Thursday, where I will be talking with Zeb Haradan, who made this documentary in 2005 and uploaded it to his YouTube channel earlier this year during the summer because he noticed himself. I mean, let me read what he said in his when he uploaded. He put a little description. NESARA was a precursor to QAnon. This is a documentary I made in 2002 and 2003 about a group of excommunicated Mormons who believed that a secret law called NESARA would be announced imminently. They believed that the World Trade Center attacks on September 11th, 2001 were an effort to stall the announcement and that the pending invasion of Iraq would be another attempt to do so, but that benevolent aliens would intervene and prevent it. This is going to be a interesting episode, I think, to say the least. See you all. Well, someone's asking me about what is this? Ask me this question, Dr. Gailazwikit, about Dave Futrell. Ask me on Thursday. We're just watching this movie and talking about NESARA now. On Thursday, I will be doing the first half with the filmmaker on NESARA. And the second half, the usual second half show where I'll take your calls, questions, comments about any topic, anything you want. Ask me all your questions about other topics then. All right, folks. You don't even remember what NESARA stands for. It's the National Economic Security and Recovery Act. There you go. I hope you guys all enjoyed. It seems like a lot of people did. Soap Bucket says, thanks, Matt. This was a real gem. See you all. Again, patreon.com/MattBinder to support this show. Follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/MattBinder, twitch.tv/MattBinder on Twitch, at MattBinder on Twitter, etc., etc. Doomedcast.com for the podcast. Once again, patreon.com/MattBinder. Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time will be a great show diving into this documentary, the Open Mind Forum, NESARA, the Dove of Oneness. I can't wait, honestly. I'm really looking forward to this. See you all next time on Doom.